What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Can you guys hear me? Hey, everyone, how's it going? What do I think of NBAC? I haven't looked into that. I don't have an opinion on it. Okay, cool. Glad that you guys can hear me. What about Palantir? I've seen Palantir take off. I haven't really done too much research on it. I don't really look to diversify too much. So, uh, it seems like a good place so far. For Xpong, Xpong has pretty much taken off. A lot of people are like Xpong past NIO or whatever, but the market cap is still way smaller than NIO's market cap. So, as a long-term investor, I think market cap is more important right now. What would happen if to NIO if Trump remains president? I'm not going to get into that. It's in my opinion, I don't think that Trump will remain president. Um, and it just doesn't seem likely. And anything that I would have to say on that would be speculation. What's everyone doing for Thanksgiving? My week's been pretty good. It's pretty much come to an end now as we get into the holiday. Uh, I guess the gains in Idex was a pretty good move for me this week. So I'm happy about that, excited about that. How was your week? Just thought I'd go live real quick and just tap in with everyone, see what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling about everything going on in the market so far, um, what you're doing for the holiday. What's our next home run? Um, Honestly, I'm a long-term investor. I don't look to make those quick moves, but with IDEX, I wasn't expecting it to pop so quickly. And since it went up so much, I decided that setting a stop loss was appropriate, and the stop loss kicked in and it triggered. So that's what caused that quick profit or quick gains. What are you looking to invest in next week? I'm looking to buy some more NEO shares pretty soon, maybe this week, maybe next week. I'm dollar cost averaging, so if I'm following my interval, I'll be buying it this week. I might put that off as well, but I try to stick to my interval, just trying to accumulate shares there right now. APXT, I'm not sure about that. Just to let you guys know, I don't know what every stock is. When people say like, "What's your thoughts on like this stock or that stock?" There's no way in the world like one person can give you like a perspective or a well-researched perspective on every stock. But when I do have time, I do look into some of these companies. A lot of, I guess, investment opportunities come across my desk every day. So um, it's hard to really like, have a complete understanding of everything when there's thousands of people telling you to check out thousands of different stocks. So it's not like I'm ignoring you guys when that happens. It's just that it's not physically possible for me to completely research everything. I think cryptocurrencies are good, but why would Bitcoin be the leader of any other cryptocurrency? People who have accumulated cash wouldn't buy into an unfair winner comes first. Yeah, I think Bitcoin is just the flagship currency for crypto. This year we're really seeing that the banks and big institutions are actually buying Bitcoin, so there's so much more money in the market and there's more demand for the currency. It's a lot easier to buy Bitcoin now than it was, let's say, 2 years ago. So the supply is obviously decreasing. There's a halving every 4 years, and there's more demand. So I think Bitcoin is just definitely a winner on that term. When you think about it, especially people are looking for a yield because the banks have cut uh, interest rates by so much. It's hard to get a return on your money by investing in a traditional savings account. If you talk to anybody older than you, there used to be a time when I believe banks were paying interest rates of about 4%. The inflation target for quite some time now has been about they were aiming for about 2%. The Fed has pretty much made it clear that they have no problem overshooting the inflation target. So with that, people are looking for stores of wealth, um, gold, Bitcoin, stocks increase in value uh, with inflation for the most part. If you denominate the entire stock market in gold, uh, it really hasn't done much. But if you denominate that same market in dollars, which is a manipulative currency, then that's why stocks have pretty much increased over time. For the most part, when I look at stocks, I think of them not only as an investment, but also as a store of wealth. And then at the same time, real estate values have also increased with inflation, and it just makes sense. How about Virgin Galactic? Um, I'm looking to actually double down on my Virgin Galactic position at some point. Uh, who knows when that'll be? I'm just watching right now. But I do like Virgin Galactic. Nice to meet you too. Have you invested in XRP? No, I don't really dabble in the other cryptos in the space except for Bitcoin. If I was thinking about one, it would probably be Ethereum. Hey, Obi, what are your thoughts on Tesla and its performance over the past week? Tesla has pretty much just been crushing it this week. I think the induction into the S&P 500 helped the company helped the share price and the stock pick up some steam from there. When you look at stocks like NIO and Tesla, I think you really have to look at these stocks from a long-term perspective because today's share price does you it's pretty tough to justify. You cannot justify it off of valuation metrics. Um, NEO is expected to have negative earnings per share next year. Okay, so you have to really look into the future. With Neo, I'm kind of at first I was like, you know what, maybe it'll be 3 years, but after just currently watching it some more, I'm looking 5 to 10 years down the line. Who knows how high it could get, but I don't want to miss out on the gains over the years. One of the biggest mistakes I think that people can make with the EV sector is, in my opinion, and this is for me, this is my idea, is just not being invested in it over the next 10 years. It's a super hot space. Information does not come at a premium anymore. Retail investors like myself know what the automotive field is going to be going into the future, and everybody wants a piece of that right now. If you think about Elon Musk back in the day, people were saying Tesla was like a scam company, and pretty much now, anybody who says that might be chastised. We see Elon Musk is one of the best businessmen in the world now, and I view William Lee as one of the best businessmen in the world too. We appreciate the hard work, even if it doesn't seem like we're just trying to work you to death. You do sometimes seem to have really good insight. Thank you so much. Do you know anything about Ren? Yeah, I do know about Ren King. Um, he is pretty much a genius when it comes to coding, and I think that for Neo, um, when it comes to them trying to potentially, there's no confirmation or information out there on the internet about this, but if they do try to develop their own uh, full self-driving, I think he's going to be the guy to get them there. Neo's money. How high do you think Palantir can go? I don't know. I haven't looked into that company for real. One of the things I think about when investing is um, a lot of the sometimes the best thing that you can do is not really try to dabble in so many different things. Just pick some winners, double down on the winners, and consistently invest. So even if a stock has potential to run, I have to think about what I'm in now, and does what I'm in now have potential to run higher in the future? So I'm not just trying to really chase all green waves and stuff like that. Somebody said something earlier about IDEX. I did mention in the last video that even though I took profits and that was due to my stop loss, which I am not mad about, I was looking for a re-entry. So for IDEX, I'm playing some calls on it right now, actually, some leap calls. For leap calls, with IDEX, what I did was January 2022 $1 calls. And guys, don't play options just because I'm playing options. I don't play options too frequently because there's a lot of risk associated. You can end up burning your whole investment and the calls can retire worthless. I mean, can expire worthless. But I did January 2022 $1 calls. My break even price is $4 for IDEX, and I did these leap calls just to give myself some time, and also I'm practicing options. But at the same time, I did it with profit. I didn't touch the principal. The principal is still there, and I didn't use the entire profit. So what I'm playing with is the house's money. But if it hits my break even price, here's what I can do because I did say I was looking for re-entry. So I can exercise my right to buy those shares back for $1 a piece. But there, I played January 2022, so it doesn't necessarily have to go to $4 this year. It doesn't even have to go to $4. It doesn't have to go to $4 in 2020. It doesn't have to go to $4 in 2021. Um, so I'm pretty good with those. And if I buy my shares back for $1 a piece, then that means that I'm pretty much getting them all back, or I can even sell those calls and make a ton of profit on that. So you think IDEX will go back to $4? Yeah, that's why people play calls, but I don't think that it's gonna. I'm not saying that it's gonna go back in the short term. In the Discord, I actually posted some charts on IDEX. Um, we're seeing two levels of support right now, in my opinion, at the $2.70 range and at the $2.50 range. So if you're in the Discord, you saw my chart there. How far do you think NIO will rise this year? For price targets, I don't really do short-term price targets. Um, but if I had to make a loose prediction, I would say that it wouldn't be outlandish for NIO to be maybe 65, $70 this year. A lot of people are saying NIO and Tesla stock look overvalued, so you shouldn't invest or stuff like that. But for me, like I said, I'm playing the long game. I'm looking 5 to 10 years down the line, and I think that these prices even today will be joke prices later on in the future. Honest thoughts on XRP. Actually, one of my friends was telling me about XRP earlier this year. Someone also just asked me about XRP, and I said I don't know much about it, and I don't know much about XRP. He was telling me that he put a ton of money in XRP, and we've just seen that thing pop. So Um, congrats to anyone who I guess is invested in that. I don't really try to mess around with in the crypto space too much. Only Bitcoin. My Bitcoin position I bought in at 9K. I mentioned that earlier this year in the video that I bought in at 9K through BlockFi. I was getting 6% APY on that while I was waiting for capital appreciation. Now Bitcoin is about 19 or something, so I've very well more than doubled my money. And when you factor in the interest, who knows how big of a return that is. But Bitcoin is something that I'm looking as a set it and forget it, especially with BlockFi. We all know that over time, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, according to Albert Einstein. Snowing in Michigan tonight. Let's see. Uh, it's not really snowing right now. It was snowing a little bit yesterday, I believe. It's been on and off. I bought in at 900 for Bitcoin and 12 for XRP. Do you mean 9K? 900, that's crazy. Hey, Neo is knocking at a 80 billion cap. I don't think people understand how big that is. That may be bigger than GM, Ford, Chevy combined. Are we getting, is that getting ahead of ourselves? Um, See, when people say stuff like that, I understand the concern. I understand that people say company like Daimler, NIO has surpassed them in market cap, and uh, roughly they've only been selling. Roughly, they're pushing about 5,055 vehicles per month as of October. But it's so much far beyond the cars. You think about the battery asset management business that they have a 25% equity stake in. Um, and according to them, it's projected to be according to them, it's a 2 trillion RMB market. We think about XPT, the motor business that they actually own entirely, and it will operate independently of NIO. So, meaning that they're going to sell those motors potentially to other companies as well. So you have to factor that into the valuation. And then you think about what else is there with NIO? The Robo Taxi Network. I did a video on ARK Invest research report. Projected Robotax mobility as a service is projected to be a $10 billion market by 2020. Was it 10 trillion or 10 billion? Something, I mean, yeah, something crazy like that. But at the same time, let's say NIO gets 5 to 10% of that market, and obviously, I think Tesla is going to get more of a percentage of that market, and NIO isn't vertically integrated in that aspect. But at the same time, so they're splitting their profits with Mobileye in that aspect, because they're not doing it all by themselves. But that still comes out to a very huge number. I'm a subscriber watching in Korea. Thank you for always sharing good information. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate you guys. It's been a crazy ride. I started this YouTube channel, and I remember I wasn't really getting that many views. I was lucky to crack about 100 views, but I kept on going and I kept on staying consistent. And it was just a way to hold myself accountable, to make sure that I'm doing research on everything that I'm holding as well, and just put it out there. And I'm glad that it was well received, and I'm super happy about that. So I guess that's what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving, for this channel and you guys, and just how far we've come. And I'm super happy that a lot of you guys have made massive gains this year. Anything on Apple stock? Actually, my best friend, he puts all of his money into Apple stock. Safe company, blue chip, safe play, lots of cash on the balance sheet. Um, but for me, when it comes to investing, this is why I told him, yeah, Apple's going to be a safe play, but if you want to be rewarded in the stock market more, then you have to take on more risk, and you have to do research, and you have to figure out about the next thing. He doesn't even research. He just dollar cost averages Apple pretty much every 2 weeks, and he's like, I know where Apple's going. It's going to go up in the future. Well, Apple has to grow by a ton in the future for him to get the same returns as I've been getting at NIO. So that's one thing I think about. I rather find the next thing, and I feel like when you do find the next thing, that's when you're a real investor. He kind of views Apple as a savings account. Thoughts on CIIC? A lot of you guys have been telling me to check that one out. I have not had the opportunity to look into it. I did look at the share price, and it's up pretty much right now. So not sure if it would be advantageous for me to actually invest in it or spend a lot of time researching on it, but probably dig deeper into that one eventually. Did you have parents or family that introduced you into investing? Actually, no. I didn't have parents or family that introduced me to investing. As a matter of fact, my aunt called me yesterday, and I'm not obviously she doesn't. I'm not going to say her name and put her business out there like that, but she told me that her kids, who I was telling about NEO back in uh earlier this year, you guys know, um she actually ended up investing in NEO. She bought a bunch of shares, and she ended up making $130,000. So she told me, like, next time I figure out what's a good investment, let her know. And I think that's something that made me really happy, just to see how everybody was, um just to see how everybody pretty much made some nice gains in it, and it even came down to my family. So I just answered Apple. I said one of my friends invest in Apple. Um, I do not invest in Apple. It's a safe stock, in my opinion, blue chip, lots of cash on the balance sheet, one of the biggest companies in the world. But for growth investing, for me, I mean, Apple sounds like a very great core holding, right? But I'm more risk on with my approach, and that's why my returns have absolutely demolished what my friend invests in Apple, and he doesn't do any research. He just views it as a savings account, and he started getting into the stock market when he started hearing about all the quantitative easing and money printing. Um, so I guess the stock market for him was a hedge against inflation. He's really more of a real estate guy. So when he puts his money in there, he just doesn't want it to be devalued, and he's okay with achieving if Apple was to give him a 7% return year over year, which I don't think it will. I think Apple will do more than a 7% return. He's okay with that. IDEX news. Not really, not right now. Um, PIC or HCAC. Nope. I don't know about those companies. What do I think about Mobileye and Intel? I think as far as from the perspective of a neo investor, I think that Mobileye is a pretty I think that Mobileye, the partnership is good for Neo. Um, a lot of stuff in Neo's business model, even though they do have their own things that they do own completely, a lot of stuff is outsourced, which is very different than, say, a company like Tesla that's trying to vertically integrate everything and do everything in house, um, from their robo taxi network to their self-driving software and yada yada yada. But with Mobileye, I think it's smart for Neo because in the early days, right, it's not going to cost them as much money to it's not going to cost them as much money up front because they are outsourcing everything. But over the long run, it's more profits to reap in when you do own everything outright. You're not splitting with anybody, but there's a lot less risk when you're outsourcing, right? Because Neo, if they supply Mobileye with their vehicles, then it's on Mobileye to figure out the robo-taxi network and get everything done. But the order's still placed, and that's kind of how I view it. Um, what is my Neo percentage of my portfolio? This is pretty crazy, but like I told you guys, I'm not really the biggest fan of diversification. So my Neo holdings are about 73% right now. Obviously, it's climbing as Neo stock climbs. There was a time when it was about 50% of my portfolio. I actually did a video about that, and that was the only time I talked about what percentage of my portfolio is Neo stock. So that's why I don't really get involved completely in these other companies because I have so much conviction in Neo. So I'm dollar cost averaging it. It's not like I'm just going to put $20,000 to work at one time. So by default, I'll buy less when the share price is higher, and I'll buy more when the share price is lower. And if I believe in the company and the company actually succeeds, dollar cost averaging over the long term has for the most part been proven to be more safe and a better strategy than lump sum investing. In the beginning, I was lump sum investing. Loved Neo under $10, made a ton of money, but I think it's a little overpriced now. See, that's fair to say, but like I said, I'm dollar cost averaging, so um just sticking to my interval, it doesn't concern me too much. Someone mentioned Zam, you mentioned switchback energy. People in the Discord were telling me to get into that one, and I saw that it shot up. I can't remember the share price and the percentages right now, but I missed the boat on that one. What's your prediction on Neo by the end of the year? I don't make very short term. price predictions, but if I have to throw something out there for the end of the year, I'm going to say 65, $70 ish by the end of the year. I wish I discovered your channel before first selling my NIO shares when it was $11. Um, I guess that comes with investing though. We all learn lessons in this game. I've definitely learned my lessons. I've definitely taken some L's. Uh, but what matters is that the you win more than you lose, and hopefully that the wins can cover the losses several times over. Do you think the Tesla recall today will positively affect NIO as it wasn't a battery related but structural thoughts? Mm, I don't think so. Not too much. Tesla is the market leader in this space. We all know that. But when we're thinking about a quality perspective, and not to say that Teslas aren't quality or anything, but I do think that the quality in a Neo vehicle out exceeds the quality of a Tesla vehicle. Neo has had recalls in the past as well for battery fires. So recalls happen with automakers, and when a company steps up and does the right thing and does do a recall, it shows that they're a responsible company. And that was even though Neo's share price tanked when they did those recalls, it showed that they were a responsible company from the very beginning and they did the right thing rather than just letting those cars sit on the road and putting people's safety at harm. So that was one of the things I liked about Neo last year that they did that. The sentiment is bullish on NIO with a high of 60 for the next few weeks. I agree. Been in NIO since $4.20. No joke. Congrats on the gains. Do you trade NIO options? I don't trade NIO options. Like I said, I very rarely play options. I'm only playing options in Idex right now, and that's what I mentioned for you guys who are asking. I said that earlier in the I was gonna say call, but earlier on the live. I'm playing January 2022 $1 calls for IDEX, and don't play options just because I'm playing them. I could be completely wrong. I rarely play options myself. Um, so the $1 calls, my break even price is $4. If IDEX eventually goes to $4, it doesn't even have to be this year. I can exercise that and buy my shares back at $1 per share with Neo with the house's money. So I took a small portion of my profit and did that. So I still have my complete principal. I still have some profit. So with this, I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. And I'll basically get back into the company that I like. So I'll continue to cover IDEX on the channel. And technically, I'm invested since I have call options. Like I said, I didn't want to get back into IDEX at a time where, like I said, I was evaluating re-entry. I wasn't going to buy in higher than I sold out for, right? So this gives me the best way to get back into IDEX for actually less than I sold out for and at a fair price. And if it's at $4, that means that I realize $3 of intrinsic value. I have 4,000 shares of NIO. I've been buying since 2018, but I'm scared the market may drop. With a great company, for me, the way I view the stock market is different than a lot of people. Um, and obviously I have a different time horizon than a lot of people. But the way I view the market is that if you're in a great company, growing company, NIO's actually expected to grow over 100% next year. That all you have to do is outlast the market if you're in a great company. So for me, I'm patient, willing to wait 5 to 10 years. Market crashes, that's an opportunity for me to purchase more NIO shares. I'm a huge NIO bull, but I really think after all the research I did, this will for sure keep going up in the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah, they're expected to grow over 100% next year. Um, So that's pretty good. And then, like Edison Yu, the Deutsche Bank analyst said pretty much the other day, if NIO can actually grow 40% from next year's sales, then he can justify um, justify it being at 10 times uh, sales valuation for 2022. I literally, how am I doing? I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Mm, we gotta get you a room lamp to lighten up the room a little more. Yeah, I actually have a whole green screen that I bought, but can't use it right now because I didn't buy enough lighting and I gotta figure out how to set it up across the room. Best YouTube channel and Discord ever. Thank you so much, Norman. Mr. Broker, we see you. Um, hey Sparty, I'm holding on to Neo, but what is next? Go green. Um, what's next? Honestly, I mentioned a little earlier on the live that I'm pretty much I have a lot of conviction in Neo, right? So I'm just pretty much dollar cost averaging it. Takes a lot of stress off of my plate. It's 70% to 73% of my portfolio. I'm not sure exactly. So over the years, I think it'll treat me well. But obviously, diversification is a good way to manage risk. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to invest how I invest. I'm putting another 40K in Neo next week, holding until next year. Big bag. Congrats on the gain so far, man. Obi, what's your framework for evaluating companies? Well, I actually have a very old video on my channel. Not even very old because we started this channel this year, over the summer, but it's called How to Quickly Value a Stock, right? So it depends on what type of investing you're trying to do, right? So for me, um, there's a lot of metrics that you can use. For those, I kind of do that as a quick glance at a stock, how to value a stock quickly. Check out the PE ratio, check out the market cap, uh, check out the price to sales ratio. Obviously, Neo's not a profitable company, so it doesn't have a PE ratio as a price to sales ratio. Enterprise value is quite important, I think so. So you compare those metrics to other companies in the space. You look at the business. How's revenue been year over year over year? Um, you want to check for a good balance sheet. You want to check the burn rate. So, yeah, this company has $27 million in cash on their balance sheet, but how much are they burning per quarter? Okay, you have $27 million in cash on your balance sheet, but you're burning $20 million per quarter. Probably not a good company because then they're going to have to figure out a way to raise capital. And what do companies do to raise capital? They dilute shareholders. They um they do splits, things like that. So um, just be careful with that. That's how you quickly value a company. And then a lot of valuing a company is stuff that the numbers don't necessarily tell. So remember earlier this year, on paper, there was high probability of Neo going bankrupt. I actually didn't believe NIO would go bankrupt because I believe that they would get support from the Chinese government, which they did. But on paper, the numbers couldn't have told you that. And then obviously look at the cars. I looked at the cars. I said, this is a beautiful car. It's a nice product. I think people are going to want it moving into the future. I saw what they were trying to do. I watched a ton of interviews on William Lee. Um, I remember one of them last year when Neo wasn't doing so hot, it was just a free fall. Um, they asked him what's going on with Neo's share price, and he said, I don't think that U.S. investors recognize the long-term value of Neo, and there's a short selling mechanism in the U.S. So that kind of makes things worse. So I kind of took that one to heart and it gave me some confidence to hold. It was a risky bet because, hey, what if this company did go bankrupt? It's easy to look like a genius today, but I could have very well looked like a moron. So I have 6 shares of NIO at $15. It's now above $50. I'm happy for the gigantic gains. Do you think I should dollar cost average since the price is so high? For me, that's the way I'm going about it. Just dollar cost averaging because NIO is a volatile stock. It's pretty hard to um, time this one. A lot of people, I know people who sold out of their positions and said, I'm going to buy back in when it goes lower at $13. Well, it's very unlikely that we ever see $13 again. But I won't give specific trading advice. That's just what I would do and how I think about it in my personal opinion. Where are the pictures of Neo's AR-18 car model? Um, I think CN Tech Post posted something about that. One of my sources that I use quite frequently. You can Google it. They were just teaser pictures. IDEX thoughts. Um, I think that they have exposure to two companies that can be market leaders in the future. After I said that, they doubled down on their uh, equity in Tree Electric, making another, I mean, in Soul Electric, making another $1.3 million investment. And that's when IDEX stock really shot up. But yeah, I think that in the future there's room for growth. I think that within the space for them, within the space that they're in for them, they're solving a problem. As somebody mentioned in the Discord, that it is a problem-solving investment. People don't want to put or have the means to put large sums of cash down on IDEX. So they're going to need financing. Just think about it yourself as a consumer, right? How many people buy their car in cash, which oftentimes is a good idea for people who aren't good at managing debt. Managing debt, my voice just cracked. So think about yourself as a consumer. A lot of people finance their homes. A lot of people finance their cars. So IDEX is a company that's allowing these enterprises to actually finance entire fleets. They're making a distribution on every transaction that's made in that way. And then after they get them as a customer in there, they can also sell them wholesale. They can also sell them wholesale energy, not that they're producing, but once again, that they're making a distribution on. So, with that being said, they serve as a middleman. They call this business model sales to financing to charging. And I think with the EV space going crazy this year, it's been an opportune moment for them. And I think that in the future they'll continue to pick up on the movement upwards. How old are you, Obi? Obi looks about 26. You're pretty close. I'm 23. Thank you for all the info you give. We love doing our own research, but it makes us investors feel a lot better hearing the facts from a different side. Thank you. No problem. And I like to hear everybody else's opinion too. You guys definitely give me a lot of ideas and things to think about as well. No one knows what the future hold. I bought NEO under 10 because I believe the Chinese government would never let them fail. Agreed. 100% agreed. Obi, what's your IDEX price target for the end of the year? So I leaped my calls. I played long calls. I don't like to set short-term price targets on stocks. Because anything can happen. It would be very advantageous to know what the market's going to do in the short term. Um, but really long-term investing is probably the proper and safest way to go about it, per the words of Warren Buffett. What do you think about Neo's E7 or EE7? It looks pretty sick. I'm waiting to hear a lot more from Neo in regards to what they release. January 9th, Neo Day is going to be a very special day, so I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Don't forget about the financials and fundamentals. Um, yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking to him. I have 1,000 shares of Neo at $3.40. Should I take some profit and invest in EVs or hold Neo until I retire? So I can't give specific or individual advice, investing advice, but what I will say is it depends on your goals, your risk tolerance, your financial goals, your and what you're just planning to do with the money, or if you can identify an investment that you have more conviction in and you see more growth up ahead, then I don't think there's anything wrong with moving money around. But a lot of traders do get burnt. But for me, what I will say is that I don't plan on taking any neo profits because I'm young. Um, from what I understand, from what I've learned, the best way to the best time to take a lot of risk is when you're young. So that's how I'm doing it. Obi, how are you? Virgin Galactic, you are not speaking about it. How come? Hey, I'm doing good. I kind of have left Virgin Galactic alone as a set it and forget it. For now, there isn't much going on. I think there will be more action in 2020, so it's not worth to. I'm actually still kind of doing a little bit of checking in on it and researching from time to time, but I think there's more opportunities and better things to focus my attention on at the time. 2021 will be a better, hopefully, be a better year for Virgin Galactic. What do you recommend for the next growth stock under 10? Mm, I don't really, I don't have anything to recommend at this time. Is it unrealistic to aim for $600 in NEO stock? I don't think so. I mean, I guess it just depends on your time horizon. Right now, I would be interested in any stocks coming out of China. They want to dominate the world. China is definitely a market that is really innovating, and there's a lot of growth ahead in the future for them. And even with the way that I think, not to get political or anything, but how they handled the pandemic, they're doing a lot better than we are right now in the United States. I have 7.3K shares of NIO, bought in when it was $3. Definitely the best investment of my life. I would like to hold for 3 to 5 years. Do you think all this EV competition could stop NIO's growth? Um, so I think NIO could be a market leader um, in the EV space in the future. They could actually, it's yet to be seen, but they could be the biggest EV company in China, which is the best market for them. I think it's good because, like I said, I feel like China has, if we're thinking short term, China has handled the pandemic better than us. So Tesla has a lot of exposure to the US right now. Okay. But NIO, they actually are only operating in China as of now. That's the biggest market. They have a lot of government support. They handled the pandemic better, and we're seeing a lot of things kind of um, not return to normal, but kind of return to normal over there in China. So auto sales could. That's why the business is actually expected to grow over 100% next year. And then the EV space is just getting bigger and bigger. So I think it's very optimistic. My outlook for NEO is very optimistic, short term, long term, as they begin to scale. They're the only player in the luxury. They're not the only player, but they are kind of, in my opinion, the dominant player in the luxury electric vehicle market. Tesla versus NEO will be the Coke and Pepsi of EVs. That's a pretty good way of thinking about it. That's pretty interesting. I like that. I wish I could pull up my chart for Idex. Even though I'm like my calls are so far ahead, I'm still just following the charts and seeing what it does because maybe I exercise them this year, who knows? But let me see if I could pull it up or at least show you guys on my iPad. So like I said, I'm not sure if that's gonna show. So like I said, I drew two support lines at the 270 level. Oh man, this is not showing. Okay, I drew two support lines at the $2.70 level. One is at the other one is around the 250 level. Um, there I drew a hard resistance line at that $4.70, and then I drew another resistance line around three, and then I put another resistance line around $3.40. So I do think IDEX needs to break out past like that 3.5, $3.40 level to really run in the short term. Is it true that the China tax credit only applied to NIO? Because um, I believe that there are I believe that with there is a credit for only swappable batteries, but I believe that I know that Tesla gets subsidies from the government as well. China's just trying to create a more electric future. What was their promise to be completely carbon neutral by 2060? And if you think about China, they are the country with contributing to the most pollution. And obviously, I'm not being like derogatory or anything. I'm just speaking on the data. So they realize there's a problem and they're trying to fix it. And we do need to take care of pollution in the US as well. We need to take care of that across the world. Um, I'm very interested in a sustainable future. Who has shares in IDEX? I have 400 shares at $3.69. Will IDEX be the next NIO? I don't think it'll be the next NIO. For me personally, I have a lot more conviction in NIO than I do in IDEX. I think I mentioned that in my video, and that's why I set that stop loss to protect my downside and protect my profits as well. But I think IDEX has a huge market opportunity ahead of themselves. Solo is going to $20 before 2021. What about the next 3 years? I think Solo has good market segmentation. I like the idea, the concept, what they're trying to do, but I do have investing principles, and I'm never going to invest in something that I wouldn't see myself using. And for myself personally, I'm not a fan of the cars. Any thoughts on Alpine? I haven't checked out that stock. PIC is about to rocket. Might be worth looking into. Thanks for the tip. Little off topic, love the bass in your intro. Thank you so much. Somebody actually just called me today and they're like, I love your intro. But how I got that is kind of funny. I actually one of my friends, he's really good at like video editing and creating and stuff like that. And I told him exactly how I wanted it. I told him I wanted it to be like clean. I told him I want the music to be clean, simple, and chic, and I want the Courtside Financial logo to be kind of like a C intersecting with a F. And he actually delivered on that, and it came out exactly how I wanted it. So I'm happy about that. Think I might make myself like a Courtside Financial hoodie or something. That's something I've been thinking about. I sold IDEX and Solo and bought Switchback Energy and LCA. LCA, Lancadia Holdings, acquiring Golden Nugget Gaming, right? I actually did a video on that earlier in the year. I said I liked the company. I was actually thinking about getting into it about 2 weeks ago. I see that LCA popped off today. So I guess I missed the boat on that one too. I don't really so with my IDEX money, like I mentioned, that was kind of gambling money, right? But it was a significant amount of money. So when you guys mention all these other stocks, obviously NEO, 73% of my portfolio, that is my focus. But when you mention all these other stocks, what I do with the money that I had into IDEX, I deploy that capital into those type of things if I like the business model and I do my research and I like it. Do you think the bias towards China in the will change in the near future? I sure hope so. Will you ever show us your portfolio and can we get better insight? Yeah, I probably will show you guys my portfolio eventually. I mean, I've talked about everything in my portfolio as far as like specific numbers of shares, as far as how much money is in there. There's a lot of friends and family and just people that I'm close to, even some people from work that follow the channel. And I don't like, I'm somebody that likes to kind of lay low. I don't want people knowing exactly how much money I have or have made. A lot of you guys have been asking about Palantir. Someone in the Discord actually, I think they made 700% today playing options. So shout out to him. Love you too, man. Any thoughts on stable road acquisition? Do I use leverage? No, 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 no. So I was actually, I almost said how much margin I have available in my WeBull because they give you half of your account holding. So that would have revealed my entire account holding. But I'll just say I have tens of thousands of dollars in margin because when I opened up my Webull account, I'm like, let me just make it a margin account just in case. But I don't use margin at all. I think it's very risky. I try to trade with my own capital or invest with my own capital only. I've seen margin be a slippery slope for a lot of people, and it can easily be a quick road to bankruptcy. Best in the game. Thanks for all the tips and tricks. Looking forward to your future videos and insight. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Trade with what you got. That's right. Do you ever swing trade or day trade? How did it go? Or did I ever swing trade or day trade? Okay, I will tell you guys about a time when I made a very, very bad mistake trading. But uh to answer your question, do I ever swing trade? Yeah. Just swing traded Idex. Last year I was swing trading NIO and I did 113% profit on that one. And then I went long this year. But here's the story of the time I took a big L uh trying to, I guess, time the market or swing trade. And I guess you can call this swing trading, but when the I have never been through a I've never been through a huge market crash like we saw in March before. So this is fairly recent. Lesson learned. Obviously, I made my money back probably like 10 times over, but I've never been through a market crash. I was making a lot of money before the market crash, and I just saw a lot of that evaporate. So I tried to avoid pain. You can't really avoid pain in the stock market. You just have to embrace it. So that's why I became such a fan of averaging down, long-term investing, and sticking to the course. Um, so I watched the stock market fall. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to short the overall market. So SPXU is an inverse leveraged three times ETF, which is the inverse of the S&P 500. So you can buy that to give yourself exposure to to the inverse of the S&P 500 at three times, right? But it's built off of options. Options decay over time. So you don't want to be in this investment probably more than 2, 3 days, right? So what I ended up doing was actually hopping into SPXU. I sold off a whole bunch of shares of different stocks and I put it all into SPXU. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna make money while the market's going down. So everybody on the news, CNBC, everywhere else is preaching that the market's gonna crash. There's no reason for the stock market to keep going up. Eventually, there's going to be a correction. So I was literally holding my position there. I'm watching the market go up and up and up and up. And I'm like, bro, like I just put all this money into SPXU. I'm losing money day after day after day after day. And you're not even supposed to be in this uh, inverse ETF for more than you're not supposed to be in it for more than a day. So at the same time, while I'm losing money, my money is decaying. And eventually, I had to sit there and say, you know what? It's time to cut losses. So I cut my losses. I lost about probably like $5,000. I put that $5,000 um, into stocks. The stocks started going up. The same people that were screaming that the market is going to crash, it's going to correct, it's going to keep on coming down, we're still sitting in there. But I think this just taught all of us a valuable lesson this year that the stock market is not the economy. Unemployment numbers were going up. Um, unemployment numbers were going up. Money printing reached all-time highs. The GDP, that we reached so much debt this year with we printed so much money with quantitative easing this year. So while all these negative and businesses were shutting down, businesses that were not meant to function um, on zero revenue for an extended amount of time, and all signs were telling you that this is going to have a negative effect on the market. The market continued to rise. Obviously, we're pretty much back up way more than where we were before the crash. So just because you believe that the economy is just because you believe the economy is doing one thing, don't assume the same thing's going to happen in the stock market. Hold your position. Continue to consistently invest. Yes, you'll buy sometimes when the market's high. Yes, you'll buy sometimes when the market's low, but you cannot time the market. You can't predict it. And it's just going to end up there. You're just going to be playing games where you're losing a lot of money. So that was my lesson that I learned. Overall, like I said, I recouped those losses and made way more. Um, but I learned that lesson with SPXU. And then I actually did go back into SPXU. Uh, um, I actually played it this way the next time I went back into SPXU. I was watching the S&P 500 from a technical perspective. I saw that the market was likely to correct. So what I did this time was I actually played call options on SPXU, which is for anybody who wasn't on here, SPXU is kind of like a leverage ETF, which is three times the opposite direction of the S&P 500. So I play call options on that. So that means that I'm just multiplying those options. I'm multiplying my investment by 100. And with that, I made about 70% in a day. And then I told myself I'm done. This is gambling. I don't like to play options too often. Agree, I took a fat L trying to time NIO's dip. I sold NIO around 16.38 and it shot up to $20. I ended up buying back in at 18 something, 18 or something, and lost about 1,000 plus shares. So I've only been buying since then. And the wins make up for the losses. So congrats. I sold a pair of Bel Airs yesterday for 1,000 and I only paid 400 for them. Oh, nice. Did you see that video about me talking about how my friends flip shoes and I kind of work with them sometimes? What's up, Darius? How did stocks like NIO behave during the crash? Was it like 30% drops in a week or more severe? I don't think NIO dropped off too much. I think NIO and Tesla didn't drop off too much. like a lot of other stocks. Some stocks were just at joke valuations. Is this my full-time job now? No, I still work my real full-time job 8 to 5 p.m. every day. I would like to invest full-time at some point. The Chinese government is looking into electric car activity is very good. Xpeng is going to be outed. What makes you say that, Red? A lot of you guys are asking me what I think about Palantir. I haven't done the research. I haven't put in the time on that, but I see that it's been taken off. What are my thoughts on Idex? I already went over that a few times. I'm playing call options on Idex right now. Thank you for this valuable information. You're so welcome. What do you think about Xpeng? Um, I think, like I said, like a lot of people were saying, Obi, you made the wrong call on Xpeng. Um, I don't think I made the wrong call still. Like I said, um, investors can still I still think investors can make some money in Xpeng, but I think that NIO over the long run, we still have yet to see, still has time to become the biggest EV maker out of China, and I think it's more likely, in my opinion, for NIO to have a number one spot than for Xpeng to have a number one spot. You look at the market cap. NIO's market cap is a lot bigger than Xpeng. NIO is actually doing a lot more things than Xpeng. Share price doesn't mean anything. Just because the share price jumped uh 30% or something 2 days after I put out that video doesn't mean that I was wrong. Investing is about long term. We still have yet to see. Please talk more about IDEX. Give me some confidence. I will talk more about IDEX. As I mentioned, I have call options. So, and don't buy options just because I'm buying them. Just have to reiterate that. And my options are leap calls. What stocks am I currently looking at right now other than the ones on your channel? Also, thanks for the vids. Here, there's actually this one that I'm looking at. Let's see. I gotta open up my Charles Schwab because this is not in the WeBull. By the way, click the link in the description to get 4 free stocks from WeBull. Uh, 2 free stocks when you open your account, and the other 2 when you make a deposit of at least $100 by November 30th. And those free stocks can be valued up, and altogether those stocks can be valued up to $3,700. But let me check my Charles Schwab. NIO has negative profit margin for 4 quarters. Okay, one of them that I'm looking at, this is actually a very low penny stock. Like I said, I did take some of those IDEX profits, they're gambling money, and I use that for stupid stuff like this. Is Sun Hydrogen, HYSR. That trades on the over-the-counter market, so Robinhood's not going to give you exposure to this. Webull is probably not going to give you exposure to this, but it's at 5 cents a share. I'm still doing research on it, still learning more about the business model, but the chart was looking good. So from a technical perspective, I thought to get in with like $12. So it's not really an investment yet, but I'm checking it out. And if it makes more sense, then I could see myself putting some more capital in. Um, it's at 5 cents right now. But like I said, I only put $12 in there and I'm still reading up on it and figuring out more. So that's something that I'm watching. I saw the volume pick up, so my position's actually up 13.8%. And I might just sell out of it and forget about it. Yes, NIO is constantly reducing loss. We look at net loss, it's gone down quarter over quarter. And obviously the prof they're going to have better margins with scale. They're still scaling up right now. They're still a niche automaker. So to say that NIO has is negative for 4 quarters, that's kind of a halfway thought. You have to kind of consider everything in a full perspective. And honestly, think about it. If you start a business right now, most businesses do not turn a profit in their first few years. This is NIO's today marks NIO's 6-year anniversary, right? But you have to think about what they're trying to do. They're trying to do something, they're going after a really huge opportunity at scale for the loss to be narrowing, for the market to be growing, for the demand to be increasing month after month, quarter after quarter. It only makes sense that eventually I believe NIO will be a profitable company, and it's not just about the cars anyway. What do I do in my free time? In my free time, well, lately with the pandemic, I've just been researching, hanging out in the Discord, um, watching YouTube, uh, talking to friends, I guess. But in my free time, I like to things I like to do. I like to travel, um, sometimes watch Netflix, go out, get food, maybe get a drink with a friend or something. Just normal people things. I like to work out. I box. I run a lot. I have a treadmill downstairs. Haven't had time to get on there lately, but um, for most of the summer, I was probably on there going like 3, 4 miles every day. Sometimes I was running outside too. Just things to stay healthy. I like to cook too. Save yourself the headache and put your money in NEO. Forget about it for 2 years, then come cash. Set it and forget it. Would you ever consider meet and greets? For sure, for sure. How often do I live stream? I think this is like the third live stream, so not too often. Today I had a lot of time. I'm actually about to get off in a second though. Is Mayweather building up boxing in Michigan? I'm not sure. I'm a huge Mayweather fan though. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm sure you already know that. Mm-mm. I've never been to Asia. I really want to go to China actually and uh check out Neo's headquarters, take a look at the cars, just stuff like that. You did a good job live streaming. Thank you. I see others have super chat where they get these tips from people. Why don't you have that? Uh, I didn't really know how to turn on the super chat. I don't actually, I think I didn't set that up. YouTube was telling me to set that up. Maybe I'll set that up for next time. Um, I don't like to try and monetize my audience like a lot of these other guys. A lot of people, they say this is going to be this much for the Discord or monthly for the Discord, and they try to nickel and dime their audience, and really that's not what I'm doing it for. But in the future, maybe I turn on the super chat. Discord's always going to be free. I always say join the free Discord because I'm trying to do something different. Just trying to provide value, trying to do a good job, and hopefully everybody wins here. Come to Dubai, transit 1 week, and continue to China. I definitely got to go to Dubai too. Respect, but you should. Okay. Maybe I'll do it for the next one. Mm, Nano X imaging, OB. If you get a chance to look in, they have a reveal at the end of the month. I feel like down the line, NIO will make me enough money to pay for my trip back to China. Majority of my family is in China. That's awesome. I think China is just a really cool place. There's a lot of I really want to experience the culture over there. I love it, Obi. Keep that mindset and you'll be rich in soul and not just money. Thank you so much, Travis. You've been helping us out a lot, bro. Thank you. Of course. Do you have any pets? No, I don't. Only because I don't have time and I know how much of a hassle they are. I was just visiting a friend yesterday and her dog would not leave me alone. He was jumping all over the place, running all over the room, and I'm like, yeah, I can't keep up with a dog, but I want a cat. I think the cat that I was looking into was actually a Russian blue. I appreciate your outlook on things. More will come back to you because of the gratitude mindset. Thank you so much. Asia is cool. My Goldfield Corporation got bought yesterday for $7, made me $9,500. Congrats on the gain. Legend, appreciate the hard work, Obi. Thank you so much. Do you have a girlfriend right now? No, I don't. I don't have time for a girlfriend. Um, I have a cat and she's pretty cool. Cats are awesome. They don't bug you. It's not too much to deal with, not a waste of time, and they're there when you need them. So I definitely want a cat. All right, a couple more questions or whatever, and I'm gonna be logging off. Whenever you are in Grand Rapids, I'll take you out to one of my family's Thai restaurants. Wow, thank you so much. I actually used to go to school in Grand Rapids at Grand Valley State University. Then I ended up transferring to Michigan State. Well, Grand Valley is actually in Allendale, but it's pretty close. Will you take the vaccine when it comes? If um it really depends. Do I necessarily want the vaccine? Honestly, speaking honestly, no. But if it's something that my job requires me to do, or if it's something that my parents think that I should do, then I might just go with it because, my parents are older and I'm around them quite often. So get dollars first before a girlfriend. Then once, but then once you get the dollars, then everybody wants to be around you for no reason, and you can't tell what's real anymore. Hey man, just want to say thanks for these videos. Your advice has really helped me. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were able to win a lot this year. Would you ever visit Florida? I've been to Miami like 4 times. Um, Probably gonna end up going back at some point. Who influenced you to invest in stock? It was actually my friend in college that doesn't even invest anymore. Or I won't say doesn't even invest anymore. I'll just say doesn't invest anymore. Um, so I came into the game trying to educate myself as much as I could on real estate, read a ton of books, and that was always my goal. Um, Watching a specific YouTuber, it was very inspiring to me. Um, so I wanted to do real estate, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep on saving up and saving up and saving up. And once I get $20,000, I'll put that down on a property. It's safe to say that I have way more than $20,000 now. And but at the time, my friend was like, if you really want to get to real estate, if you want to get to those down payments and stuff like that, what you need to do is invest in the stock market. That's going to get you there a lot faster. And he was investing in the stock market. This is actually going to spiral into another story about another big investing mistake that I made and why I don't like penny stocks. He was investing in the stock money market. He made like $4,000 in a day about something he was telling me to invest in. And you know how like when people first tell you to invest, you're just ignoring them and you're like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I'll do it one time. So he showed me he made $4,000 off of something that he was telling me to invest in. And I'm like, all right, next thing that comes across your desk, man, let me know and I'm gonna get started investing. So um I actually opened up a brokerage account. He's like, invest in this company, it's gonna make you a lot of money. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start small. I'll start in the market with $200. I listened to him. I didn't do my own research. I didn't I listened to him. I didn't do my own research. So I put $200 into this company that's today delisted. It was it's called TRNX. Company I could say a lot of I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but whatever. I put $200 into TRNX. The next day, I next thing I know, I have $700, and I'm like, bro, it works like this. So I'm literally listening to him, not doing my own research, investing in penny stocks. Red flag, red flag, red flag. He's like, hold it, hold it, hold it. Eventually, you're gonna turn that $200 into $1,500. The next day, it starts dropping. I instantly lost all the profits that I made. Um, and he's like, it's gonna turn around. Just wait on it. So I waited for about 3 months, and I eventually cut losses, and he was still sitting in it. Eventually, the company got delisted. I think it's on like the OTC now. You guys can check it out if you want. TRNX. But that's when I learned penny stocks. No, no, for the most part. Always do your own research and uh just make sure you know your investment. So I had lost a lot of money. Well, I lost $200. It was only $200 investment, but I lost that money and I lost my gains, and I didn't even know why I lost it. So that was the biggest lesson ever when I started investing, and that's what got me into investing. And then eventually, like I said, my long term goal was always real estate. But as I started talking to like a lot of my real estate mentors about how much I made this year and should I take sell my stock right now and just get into real estate? They're like, honestly, you're crushing it in the stock market. Do that for a couple more years, and if you want to come back to real estate, come back to real estate. But I've seen a lot of guys whose game was in the stock market get into real estate and then end up upside down on a property. So if you're doing good in the market, just keep on running that for a little bit. And honestly, I really started to like and appreciate the market a lot because it teaches you patience. I mean, any type of investing does, but it teaches you patience. It teaches you how to manage your fear and your greed. And at the same time, it's like I don't have to go, um, let's say, I don't have to go knock on a tenant's door for rent. A lot of the stuff, other than me researching these companies and pulling the trigger, is very passive. Yes, it definitely does come from understanding the problem first to grow in anything that you're doing. Yeah, and then a lot of people tell me, Obi, you should start a Patreon, and I'm like, maybe I will, but um, again, I don't like to really monetize my audience, and then at the same time, if I start that Patreon, then pretty much tied into doing I'm pretty much tied into like consistently posting on there and doing research and stuff like that. So this I'm just pretty much doing for fun. If I stop having fun with it, like Drake said, if I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it. But it doesn't come from I'm not trying to get rich off of YouTube or anything. I know a lot of people in this space are. I'm just trying to invest and, you know, have a community around. I would encourage you to get into real estate sooner than later. See, but at what cost, right? Because Obviously, 70% of my portfolio is in NIO. Would I rather be in a company that I believe is going to um, very much so double, triple, 4x, 5x, 6x, 7x, 8x, 9x, 10x over the years? Or would I pull that money out right now, go buy a property, and then take myself out of the game? I pulled out of Idex. You can lose a lot. I'm not in Idex, but I do have 2022 calls. You're not an investor until you felt the hollow side. That's a lesson learned. I completely agree. And I'm the type of person that who has to put my hand on the fire to learn touch the stove to see that it's hot. That's just the way that I learn. Like if you tell me something, I learn from experience a lot of times. Um, but a lot of times when it does come to the market, I will say that the market's different for me because I like to learn from like people like Chamath or Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio. I read up a lot on them. Don't get sucked into the highs and don't get stuck into the lows. That's facts. It's easy for a lot of people to feel like a genius in this market. I try not to ever feel like a genius. Um, like Mark Cuban said, everyone's a genius in a bull market. I haven't looked into NNDM, but a lot of people have told me it's 3D printing for electronic components. I like 3D printing. I'm in um, Stratasys 3D printing right now. I think we're up 11% this week or today, something like that. It's really just Stratasys is a long-term investment for me. I'm not following it too much. You don't have to pull out everything, leverage a bank loan. I know about other people's money and stuff like that. I need to really get comfortable with leverage. I'm kind of leverage is something that I'm kind of, I guess, a little fearful of. Obviously, in the sneaker business is we use a lot of leverage, but we make our money right back and profit on it right away. S- So you said you invest in real estate. Do you have people that invest with you in your deals? Are you talking about me? I have REITs. That's how I'm invested in real estate. But I really want to have my own properties at some point. Oh, you're talking to him. Okay. Yeah, people are kind of fleeing the more expensive areas. Commercial real estate, short term is not going anywhere good in my opinion with all this virus talk. Yeah, I'm in Fundrise. Let me see what it's returned. I have Fundrise, and it's been doing pretty well from what I've seen. Yeah, starting a Patreon makes it not fun anymore. It turns into being back at school or back in college. So overall with Fundrise, um, this is just a set it and forget it investment, but I've done 6% return on my money. At one point it was at 7.4%. But 6%, I'm beating inflation. It's compounding year over year. Dividends are getting reinvested. Not a bad investment. Best way is to own your own and flip for a while and buy others and rent out. 10 years, it will give you money if you do it right. Yeah, I need to learn. I need to put dedicate some time and energy and effort into learning how to go about that because I know there's a lot of people using other people's money and leveraging and making a ton of money in real estate a lot quicker than they ever could in the stock market because of that leverage component. I feel like Fundrise doesn't have a high return in stocks. Yeah, but it's safe and it's set it and forget it. So I wouldn't deploy like the biggest amount of capital to it, but 25 years from now might be cool. For the record, I think you have a great channel. Thank you so much. I'm also invested in real estate but loving the market. I agree. Agreed. I just subscribed to your channel. Thank you for the information. Always glad to hear from another's experience. Thank you so much. Lots of landlords not getting their rents and can't evict. But then again, a lot of landlords are getting their money. I think it all comes down to screening your tenant very well. Correct me if I'm wrong about that because I've never done it. I agree. Plus, it does put pressure to always find new stocks. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Stock market's going to be a lot of research when you're picking individual stocks. They will get their money in the end. Yeah, I was asking about that as part of a group of investors that got into real estate. What do you guys think about Airbnb? Someone was telling me that Airbnb is the new wave. Obviously, with the pandemic, Airbnb has really slowed down this year. And a lot of business Airbnb businesses failed. But what do you think long term about Airbnb? I'm a landlord in Los Angeles, California, and I'm yet for a tenant not to pay their rent. See, okay, so you are going to get into Airbnb next year. Interesting, interesting. Airbnb for me is booming right now. Amazing. If Airbnb ever goes public, I'm buying a lot of it. I might invest in Airbnb as well. I like innovative and like disruptive business models, as you guys can probably tell. But the numbers have to be right. And I typically don't buy into IPOs because a lot of times people get stuck holding the bag. I am renting one condo right now, thinking about buying six more by next year. Hopefully, NIO goes a lot higher and my crypto hits a nice price because cryptocurrency bull run is starting. Agreed, agreed. I think real estate is going to crash soon, which could impact the market. How does that affect the real estate you already have? Okay, guys, I'm gonna clock out now or log off, but if you want to keep the conversation going, let's keep it going in the Discord. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I will catch you guys in the next video and in the next live stream.